Bitcoins held with these third-party custodians. What risk does that pose, having greater supply held by fewer large institutions? Does that increase the risk of seizure and confiscation like we've seen with gold? And is that not exactly what Bitcoiners don't want to happen?
No, I think it's the opposite. I think that when the Bitcoin is held by a bunch of crypto anarchists who aren't regulated entities, who don't acknowledge government or don't acknowledge taxes or don't acknowledge reporting requirements, that increases the risk of seizure. If a country in desperation, if China knew that there were underground crypto traders with billions of dollars of Bitcoin in their midst that didn't pay taxes, the Chinese would probably try to shut that down, and that's what they do. So normally the risk is greater when they're unregulated private entities that are perceived to be holding the asset. When you have regulated public entities like BlackRock and Fidelity and JP Morgan and State Street Bank holding the asset, well, all the lawmakers and all the law enforcement arms, they're invested in those entities, right? So there's no way that all the senators and all the congressmen are going to seize the assets from Fidelity and BlackRock or Vanguard, because that's where all their retirement money is invested. So the asset moving from private to public hands and moving into regulated entities, it does a bunch of things. It decreases the volatility. It decreases the risk of loss. It decreases the, like, who do you trust more as a custodian, FTX or Fidelity, right? Or Vanguard or State Street, right? And if you walk down the street and you said, would you put all your family's money in an offshore entity without a headquarters run by 5 dudes without an auditor? Or would you put it with a bank that's too big to fail in the US? Right? Like, at the end of the day, you have an OG crypto community that's very hardcore about it, but if you look at where all the money is, 99.9% of the money is actually in the traditional economy. And in the war for the future of money, the war is going to be won with money, right? I mean, right, at the end of the day, Bitcoin is capital. Who's going to actually decide who's the winner or the loser? The people with the capital. And so where's the capital? It's at Vanguard, Fidelity, State Street, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley. They're all regulated entities of sorts. So when Bitcoin is held by those entities, it becomes regular and normal. And people would no more think about seizing that than they think about seizing a building in the middle of Manhattan or seizing, the S&P Spider assets. Is why would you do that? That's just the capital that you built the country on.
Well, if you ask why would you do that, if you consider the Great Depression, I mean, people thought that their gold was safe in banks until the Executive Order of 1933. So we're not entirely safe. I mean, I know that's kind of a wild thing to suggest may happen again, but history does repeat itself. So people's Bitcoin wouldn't be entirely safe. It's
people say that, but mostly it's paranoid crypto anarchists that say that. Okay? Because it's a myth and a trope that goes on over and over again. But first of all, he didn't really seize the gold. People voluntarily turned in the gold. They didn't go and kick in everybody's door, arrest them, shoot them, and take their gold. That never happened. First of all.
He asked for it.
Second of all, he didn't seize all the property. He didn't go seize all the buildings owned by wealthy people in New York. He didn't seize all the stock portfolios of wealthy people in New York, right? Gold was the monetary asset backing the dollar. The dollar was literally $20, to the ounce of gold, right? And so the problem was the country was on the gold standard. And Franklin Delano Roosevelt wanted to devalue the dollar. He wanted to devalue the currency. He wanted to print more dollars. And so they had to actually do something so they could devalue the dollar. And the way they did it was put that executive order in place, and then they revalued the dollar to $34 per ounce, a devaluation. And now you have to ask yourself the question, is the United States on the Bitcoin standard?
Maybe we will be soon.
But the point really is we're not, right? It's totally not a reasonable comparison. Franklin Delano Roosevelt didn't seize every car and every watch and and every piece of real estate and every piece of equity in the United States, because we weren't on the equity standard or the property standard or the chicken in every pot standard or the grassy lawn standard or the lawnmower standard. We were on the gold standard, and he wanted to devalue on the gold standard. And so today, we're not on the gold standard. We're not on the Bitcoin standard. The US government has no problem printing money. They can print as much as they want. And in fact, every government on earth, all of them, they're either on their own standard or they're on the dollar standard. So in this particular case, I don't think we have to worry about Bitcoin held in custody being seized by the government any more than you have to worry about your Apple stock being seized by the government, because the government doesn't need to devalue the dollar against Apple stock to print more dollars either. So it's not really an issue. It's oftentimes, people have these inflammatory, tropes or inflammatory memes that they use. And it's like, I say that because I want you to give me your money. Okay, like if you don't trust the bank, then you'll buy my hardware wallet. If you don't trust this government, you'll move to my country and you'll buy a passport from me. So if you don't trust that company, you'll sell that stock and buy the other stock. So there's a lot of this kind of messaging and ideas that they're very inflammatory, and they're meant to actually stampede people into some behavior, whatever, which is financially beneficial. Like you can't make your own investment decisions. Investing is very hard. You should give me your money. I'll make the decisions for you. I'm going to charge you 2% fee and 20% of the upside. It's like, well, what should I do about hyperinflation? Well, you need to invest in a diversified portfolio of global alternative assets across 152 different asset classes and revalue every quarter. Oh, I can't do that. Okay, that's okay. Give me your money, girlie. I'll do it for you, right? That's the kind of fear-mongering to get you to give me your money, right? And I use it to sell you a gun, to sell you a hardware wallet, to sell you an account, to sell you a financial advisor, to sell you an insurance policy, to sell you fill in the blank, right? Whatever it might be. And ultimately, I think that there's just a lot of fear that's unnecessary. The bigger idea is Bitcoin is digital capital. It's 1,000,000 times smarter, 1,000,000 times faster, 1,000,000 times stronger, 1,000,000 times more elegant than analog capital, physical capital, and financial capital. And it's simply a technology transformation. It's like, don't take 10,000 records and haul them around with you and 10,000 books whenever you travel. Take the iPad with 10,000 books on it, and take the iPhone with 10 million songs on it when you travel, right? It's like, blah, 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 but the phone will eat me and it's listening to me and it will steal my identity and kill me. It's like, it's just a computer with some digital files on it, right? And so that's the digital transformation of capital, and that's what Bitcoin represents.
So on digital money then, tell me if this is a legitimate fear or not. Quantum computing. It apparently is going to have the ability to solve multiple, more complex mathematical equations all at once. Does that pose a legitimate risk to the Bitcoin network, or are you confident that developers will come up with some kind of quantum resistance?
No, it's just another fear-mongering, end-of-the-world scam narrative that people use to sell stuff. And in this case, quantum computing, the fear is used to sell the next altcoin. I have a quantum-resistant token, and quantum computing is going to destroy your token, so give me your $1 billion and give it to me and make me rich, because maybe an asteroid will hit the Earth. I have an asteroid bunker. Give me your $1 billion and I will give you my asteroid bunker. You're going to die of pneumonia. Give me your money and I'm going to give you a vaccine, right? You're going to, it's just fear-mongering. quantum computing is if you take the general theme, it's like, oh, computers are going to get better over time. And as they get better, maybe they'll get really good and they'll be able to hack systems. And what's your response? Well, I guess I shouldn't invest in Apple or Google or Facebook, or I shouldn't have money in a bank, and I shouldn't use a computer because computers might get hacked. Huh? Okay, so give up everything in your life that has a computer in it, right? Including the podcast that you're running right now. Give it all up because one day quantum computers run by Dr. Evil will hack the thing. Okay, well, I mean, the answer is it's silly. Of course computers will get better. And as the computers get better, we will adopt the better computers to defend the network. The Bitcoin network used to generate hashes 1,000 joules per terahash. It took 1,000 joules to generate a terahash. And then it was 500. And then it was 100. And then it was 50. And then it was 30. And then it was 15. And the next will be 5. And then it'll be 1. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that computers get better, semiconductors get better, the network gets more secure. It's like, but what if someone invents something that's better than the better thing? Well, we spend $10 billion a year to keep upgrading our thing, and you think that Dr. Evil, like mini-me in the basement with no money, is going to come up with the quantum computer that's going to be better than the $10 billion we spend every year for the last decade? So yeah, if a teenage kid with $50 and a rubber band comes up with something better than $100 billion of semiconductor investment, then in theory they could hack our network. But why wouldn't you just hack X and declare nuclear war on someone and like short the market and make $10 billion by hacking the president's account?
I mean, that would be illegal, but...
Well, I mean, the point is, it's all illegal. But my point is, it's 1 billion times easier to just hack the bank or hack the communication network and make money than it is to hack Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the most cyber-resistant, the most powerful digital network on Earth. It's the hardest thing to hack. So when someone pitches quantum computing, it's a degenerate 20-something crypto trader that wants you to buy his yo-yo quantum coin and make him rich because he's got a yo-yo quantum algorithm. And I just shake my head because I think, who could be so stupid to fall for this kind of alarmism? It's ridiculous and a waste of time. But having said it all, the generic statesman-like answer is technology will advance. Bitcoin is the best, most profitable use of computer power in order to protect money. If technology advances, you got to believe that the people most incentivized to use the technology will be the one with the trillions of dollars of money to protect. It will go there first. All those advances will be first implemented into the Bitcoin network to defend the network. They won't be used by teenage boys to attack the network. By the way, teenage boys would rather hack Twitter. It'd be cooler. We're just going to go ahead.